Our goal was to get the information out to people, and our ultimate goal was to increase the pressure on Toyota to build them.
With hybrid synergy.
But all the major car makers seem convinced that Americans won't buy plug-ins, no matter how much drivers can save on gasoline.
And you never plug it in.
If these companies thought they'd make money selling plug-ins, they'd certainly build them. Part of the car makers' skepticism is based on their experience with marketing electric vehicles in the 1990s.
We made a very interesting move in the mid-90s with our electric vehicle program. Spent a huge amount of money, well over $500 million, a technological marvel, a complete commercial flop from every angle you can imagine. From no one wanted to buy it to there was no place to recharge it. A classic example of a very interesting idea, but no market for it. So we were looking for a solution, and we really thought the hydrogen-powered fuel cell was the right thing to do. And I think that was a good call.
So it starts just like a regular car?
Yeah.
Could it be that the hydrogen fuel cell will power the car of the future?
It's really quiet.
I have no doubt that America's love affair with the automobile will never end. It's an American invention, a symbol of our independent spirit. Of course, symbols are different from reality. Americans are more dependent than ever on oil. A few facts. Transportation in the United States burns up 14 million barrels of oil every day. America, only 4.5% of the world's population, consumes 1/4 of the world's oil. Nearly half of this goes to passenger vehicles, cars, SUVs, light trucks, which are the fastest growing source of deadly greenhouse gases. A possible solution that all the major car makers are researching is the hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. Bill Reinert is national manager of Toyota's Advanced Technology Group.
With a fuel cell vehicle, you take hydrogen and oxygen, you combine them together, and it creates electricity, and the emissions are water. Okay? So that's a very nice, clean solution. We're some ways away from doing that.
How far?
We can probably put compelling products on the market within 2 decades.
So you'd go with hydrogen?
Yeah.
So it starts just like a regular car?
Yeah.
2 decades is an awfully long time to wait. And some say hydrogen cars are such a long shot that they will never make it to market.
How many miles per gallon does it get?
That I don't know, because it's not really a gallon.
Right, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
But riding with stay-at-home mom, Sandy Spallino, in her cool fuel cell prototype from Honda, makes quite an impression. It's totally silent, has no emissions, and rides like a smooth, supercharged golf cart.
I use it every day, just picking the girls up, doing local errands.
So, Sandy, do people stop you and say, hey, lady, what's that car? What's that cool car?
All the time. I get questions every day. It's really fun.
Is that a fuel cell car?
Yeah.
Wow, we've never seen one.
It's a pickup car! I knew it!
Introduce the first fuel cell family to you. You'll notice they don't look like the Jetsons.
Sandy Spallino and her husband, John, of Redondo Beach, California, were chosen by Honda as America's first hydrogen fuel cell family in order to gather data on how the car performs in everyday life. Ever since, it's been a parade of publicity.
Adri! Oh, Erica, I'm taking you home, too. I told my girls, I said, we're going to have some news media in the car today when we pick you up. So they're used to it.
Ho-hum.
Ho-hum. Oh, can't we go to Subway without the paparazzi harassing us? It's really tough.
The car gets between 160 and 190 miles to a tank of hydrogen, and the Spallinos fill up about twice a week.
You know, I've always wanted to say this, but fill her up with hydrogen.
Oh, you're on. How about full service today? Well, we have to open the fuel door here and the nozzle where we put hydrogen in, and then we connect it.
Do you give green stamps here?
We do. Put that on there, like so. And then we'll just say fast fill, and it will begin filling the vehicle.
Flow rate, total.
So is hydrogen the cure for us oilaholics? On the surface, this seems the perfect solution, even if the car currently costs $1 million to make. With a little ingenuity and scaling for mass production, the price will surely come down.
Steve, where does the energy come from that makes this hydrogen?
Well, this is a solar-powered station. These are Honda designed and engineered photovoltaic cells.
Honda is in the solar business.
Yes, we are, and that's been a...
If solar power provides the electricity to make the hydrogen, and the only byproduct is purified water, what's the problem?
Power a home, but in this case...
Well, these solar panels, about 700 square feet, take a full week to generate enough electricity to create 1 tank of hydrogen fuel, a refill that gets on average 175 miles. Americans drive about 3 trillion miles per year. So it would take over 230 billion square feet of solar panels to meet the current demand.
We have some real severe problems with how we're going to make hydrogen, because hydrogen doesn't occur anywhere in nature free, the hydrogen molecule. It's always tightly chemically bound to another molecule. And to separate those two molecules and to get free hydrogen requires immense amounts of energy, tremendous amounts of energy.
Take that H off the H2O.
That's correct.
The real problem is that we will need an enormous amount of electricity to get off oil, whether it's to turn water into hydrogen or to charge batteries for plug-ins. And where do we get our electricity from today? Mainly coal, which generates huge amounts of pollution. Unless we can clean up how we burn coal or find cleaner sources of electricity, we will just be shifting our pollution from tailpipes to smokestacks. And that's where renewable energy comes in.
Solar home system. Solar's moving mainstream.
With these solar panels.
Big magnifying glass concentrates the sun.
So this is a concentrated, amazing.
Basically, our inverter goes along with solar panels.
Sun and transfer it to heat energy.
Right here you have a solar charge controller. Talked about as a deep cycle battery.
Use the system to heat a hot tub.
Charge your laptop battery.
I stopped by the Solar Convention in Washington, D.C. There I discovered an endless array of solar panels, solar gizmos, solar you name it.
Plug it in, and I'm in business.
Our flexible solar cell material that's made in long rolls.
From the basement of the Hyatt, it certainly looks like solar has arrived.
Solar is very mainstream. It's on houses, it's on ballparks, it's on large commercial buildings, and utilities are using it.
So I put that on my roof now. What's the payback?
Around 8 years, depending on your electricity usage.
And after that, you got free electricity?
Free electricity for the life of your house.
Wow.
An 8-year return on your investment is pretty good, though it costs tens of thousands of dollars to convert a home. For me, the big question is, does it really work? So I checked out the Solar Decathlon, an amazing contest sponsored by the U.S. Department of Energy, where college teams compete to build the most efficient solar house and then drop it onto the National Mall in Washington, D.C. Unfortunately, the sun was not cooperating.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Thanks, nice to meet you, David. I want to see this. Oh, we got solar breakfast?
Not quite this morning, because there's no sun.
No sun, but you've stored up.
Yes.
You can store up.
Yes, of course, we're not connected to the grid.
Right.
To demonstrate that we can live with solar power in a renewable fashion, clean.
Is that a solar couch?
Yes, it is. It's a solar sofa, and it powers the fans inside to keep you cool. The solar panels are on the back, picking up the light from the windows.
So the power comes from the sun down here, stored.
Not only are the houses judged on the efficiency of their solar design, each one must also generate enough excess solar energy to power an electric car.
Let's go.
The farther it goes, the more points earned.
I bet we're the first solar-powered car to be riding around the Washington Monument.
As I toured the other solar houses, I was impressed by the ingenuity and enthusiasm of the students, who seemed utterly unfazed by the rain.
Our house was between the architecture school and the engineering school.
We can actually boil a big pot of water for pasta in like 6 seconds.
Very special refrigerator. Yeah. It's solar powered, extremely energy efficient.
They're all powered by the solar panels.
Harnessing clean energy from the sun to power your house and car sounds ideal, though it may not be the most effective alternative for all climates. The main problem with solar power today is that it's still very expensive, costing between $30,000 to $70,000 to make an average-size house energy self-sufficient with solar panels. I wondered if there was a cheaper source of renewable energy.